In a world driven by AI, Nico Del Pino is betting on something stubbornly human. People. His Web3 gaming guild Ola GG has over 1 million followers across Latin America, and a radical idea. That community outlasts every product cycle. We get into Play to Earn as a preview of universal basic income, why community always beats product, and what blockchain does that nothing else can. This is Unblock'd with Dr. Gemma Green.
Hi, Nico. Welcome to Unblock'd. Great to have you on the show.
Hi, Gemma. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I mean, for the audience that don't know you yet, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're building with Ola GG.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Nico Del Pino, co-founder and CEO of Ola GG. We started building Ola almost 5 years ago with a mission to bring and empower financial inclusion opportunities to the gaming communities in Latin America. So we've been building both access to the best opportunities we can find in Web3 gaming and building a product and platform that enable those so the community can participate.
Nice. And so it's very focused on the Hispanic market. How many followers do you have?
Yeah, we have over 100,000 users registered in our website and over 1 million followers in our socials.
That's amazing. And is it operated as a DAO or a sub-DAO?
So we want to be a DAO, but honestly, given the reality on how DAOs are working, the state of the nature on tokens per se, we never really executed on actually formalizing the DAO operation. We operate as a company as we are, but we, if I may, we have the spirit of a DAO. What that means is that for every dollar that comes into our operation as revenue, we have a very strong revenue sharing policy in place. Almost 70% of revenue that comes in, it goes out to a community member in one way or the other. And that's how we believe that's the spirit of the DAO we want to bring, very much focus on revenue sharing with those that are making Ola possible, those being the community members per se. The way this works is the community for us, they're not only users, they are the executors of our value proposition. So we have community members actually building the content that Ola is offering. Content could be videos, could be articles, could be guides. They have community members becoming ambassadors of the games that we are working with or organizing tournaments for these games. So we basically divide the revenue that we receive for the services that we provide. We break it out in community roles that the community can take and be compensated for such roles.
Nico, tell us a little bit about how you came to found Ola GG and why you created the company.
Yeah, so I've been working with blockchain in different aspects for almost 15 years now. I was born and raised as an economist in Argentina. So I've been pretty much thinking about the concept of sound money for a long time. I'm pretty much obsessed with this. Having to grow up in a place with high inflation, high border controls, lots of corruption, and really seeing like a power ruling class getting richer as the society gets to play with a currency that gets devalued over time. So when I heard about Bitcoin early on, I was very curious about it. And the concept of building private money really resonated with me. So I've been following the space for a while. And, in my opinion, financial services, they represent maybe the first leg of adoption for crypto technologies and blockchain. And it's very natural for that industry to continue to grow within blockchain. And I think gaming comes next, basically because gaming is fun and it's entertaining. So you jump into a game to have fun. And if the game is maybe the way you get introduced to these new technology solutions and infrastructure, I was very excited about enabling that. I've been building businesses, becoming friends with, particularly with this OG in the space, Gabby Dissart, co-founder of YGG, originally from the Philippines. And I was able to watch firsthand the impact that both Axie Infinity and YGG had in Southeast Asia, especially out of the Philippines. And so I thought that was an amazing opportunity that the world was able to see. And it makes sense for me to help push or bring this opportunity into Latin America, where I have my network, my community, my friends. So we decided to build Ola as such, as let's be very paying attention to what's going on in the world of Web3 gaming, and let's bring those opportunities as fast as possible into Latin America, so the local communities in Latin America can participate.
And for those that are not familiar with gaming or YGG, could you just like give a bit of context for that, and perhaps
Yes.
is Ola GG like the Latin American equivalent of YGG?
Yeah, so YGG started out when Axie Infinity took off. This was in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, play to earn became a reality for those months, right? So people were playing games, accessing with NFTs, and really earning lots of tokens out of their video game experience. So long story short, out of the pandemic, lots of Filipinos were making real earnings out of playing video games. And there was a model named the scholarship model, where organizations like YGG, they had access to those NFTs at bulk, and they enabled their community to play those games without needing to pay for the NFT. So the community member, in the end, they were able to play for free and earn money while playing. And there was a revenue split between the organization YGG and the scholarship. And Ola GG started out of the inspiration of bringing YGG into Latin America. And originally we were thinking about an initial structure as a sub-DAO, right? A local organization focused on the local territory or the region, but really working together with a master organization being YGG. Now, the reality is that Ola GG took off on its own. We raised capital on our own. We build our own product. We are very close with YGG as partners and friends, sharing best practices, trends, insights, and a very fluent discussion into where the industry is going. But we operate in an independent manner, but staying very close to each other. I think Latin America and Southeast Asia are very different geographies with some similarities. So it's good to have friends in the other part of the world and try to find the synergies between both operations.
Nice. And you're a gamer, I take it?
Yeah. I think most of the population are gamers in one way or the other. Gaming life has evolved from becoming, when I was younger, I played maybe longer hours. Now I'm quite a casual gamer, but I also believe life is a game in such that we're all dealing with different games or challenges that we need to solve, that we put ourselves into, and communities that we participate in. And also think that games, they're becoming larger than just a game. It's been a long time that games now are social networks, a place for not only to meet people, but to hang out with your friends. They're also becoming sports, esports, and I believe games more and more will become like a venue for our daily interactions. We've seen musicians launch concerts on Fortnite. So I think these are the metaverse venues that we've been talking for a while. I think these are the games. Yeah. So what we're building nowadays is a little bit adding more services or adding different products into the gaming experience.
If you're seeing like life as a kind of analogous to a game, and does that mean, you use the word quest, does that mean that you see things like challenges with a more positive perspective, because you've got this sort of gaming context that you're looking at things from?
Yeah, I think so. I don't like to take things too seriously, to be honest. And I think if you're playful with your reality and you think about it as a quest and the daily challenges that your life presents to you, I think it's more fun. So that's the game approach that I like to bring into life.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so tell us about like some of the gaming activity for people that are not into games and perhaps have not come across Ola GG. Could you say about some of the kinds of games that you've got or activities? You said videos before.
Yeah.
What goes on in there?
Yeah, more recently, maybe the last wave of product innovation that we're bringing into Ola is very tied to mini games and highly casual games, and this is the current model for Ola has a lot to do with distributing how games expand into Latin America. So we're helping games acquire users, we're helping games position their brands, their assets into Latin America, participating in local events, and we help out with this general distribution. So more recently, within our platform, we've built mini games that are making the whole experience of getting to know a new game simply more fun, right? Maybe in the past, the question, hey, come discover this new game was very static and fixed and a little bit boring. Now we have 3 mini games that will help you find your next new game. So you're playing a game, and as you play, you get to find maybe your next favorite game. So it's building games to help you find new games.
Interesting. So it's like taster packs.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, why not?
Starter packs.
Exactly.
And so when you say mini games, what you're saying is it's a small thing, like it's like
Very simple games, very casual games that will take you a minute or two just to play. We have a treasure hunt building in our website. We have like a hawk that makes you simply find a reward within the platform. Maybe you need to do some quests, to participate with the hawk experience. We have a cards game that I really like the spirit of this cards game, because you basically, what we like about cards is that, well, you create an IP. Maybe you're playing your, I don't know, Pokemon card or whatever your favorite card games is. What we did, because we are a community first project, we are turning ourselves, community members, as the faces of the cards, right? So within Ola, if you are able to reach certain milestones, at some point you can mint your own card. So you for example, Gemma, you could have your own card within Ola, then play games with your own card. And maybe your card is stronger than mine because you earn different badges or powers. So now you're using yourselves as the main actor within the game.
So are you in some of your games? Is that what you're saying, Nico?
We've built a few of these games. These mini games are games that we build in house, and yeah, this cards game is basically literally has the faces of our some of our community members. I have a card here because some cards here. These are some of the cards of our community members.
Nice.
So we are turning the community into real actors within the games.
Excellent. Making it even more real life.
Yes.
And are you inventing the games yourself?
Yes, this one we did. Yeah, and we're building on a few others that we will probably start launching next month. So we slowly moved into the business of game development after seeing a little bit both the opportunities and the challenges of building games. We believe we have a very interesting opportunity ahead of us. So for 2026, you can expect a roadmap of new launches coming out of.
Nice. So if I understand correctly, what you're kind of doing is like modularizing gaming to create more on-ramps for people to come into the Web3 gaming world.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
Correct. We're making it very easy for you to find a favorite game, to meet colleagues or friends or community members. So there's quite a social space within the community experience of Ola, and that's about it. Yeah.
What about like gaming addiction? Are you worried that it's like so good that people become addicted to the game and perhaps don't get involved in their daily life or neglect their daily life?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a concern. Screen time in general, I think it's the concern. Gaming is one of the screens, naturally, but I think the screen time competes between gaming, Netflix, television, phones, social media. Within those comparables, I truly advocate to limit screen time overall and to be mindful about what type of interaction you have with the screen. What I do appreciate about games is that you have an active role within the participation of that the screen proposes, right? You're not simply a passive reactor to comments on a picture or to a movie that's been displayed. literally becoming the main character. So it involves action, and you're speaking to your friends or your opponents. So there's a social aspect on that. In that sense, I highly value the role that gaming has when you compare to the other formats of screen time that you can be exposed nowadays. Yeah, but all in all, I do think you need to be mindful about how much time you spend playing video games or facing a screen overall, and acknowledging there's a life outside the metaverse.
With quests out in the real world
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. And what would you say are the differences in like what's happening with crypto in Latin America and blockchain in Latin America compared to other parts of the world? Could you give us a bit of a sense of that?
Yeah. I think out of Latin America, there is pretty much a need for better alternatives. Starting out of currency, right? Most of the countries in Latin America are exposed to local currencies that highly devaluate over time, and that really presents like a malicious circle in the way you're exposed to being incentivized to be spending money all the time. Nobody's able to save in the local currency. There are very little options to escape local currency, a highly inflated currency. So when crypto started with Bitcoin or stable coins or all of the others, all of a sudden everybody has access to a tier one global service offering, right? Everybody can escape local currency just like that. And I think that's massive, especially in Latin America. Um, from there, I think gaming gets you exposed to new features, real ownership, NFTs, DAOs. These are interesting tests that blockchain is bringing into our world. But I think Latin America is pretty much represented where economies are running under a financial system that's broken, and all of a sudden, blockchain offers access to a better global alternative.
Practically speaking, what does that mean for like the gaming world in Latin America, or is that fairly kind of ubiquitous when you compare it to?
No, well, for the gaming world, initially, if you're able to, yeah, I mean, I think blockchain as a role is just another industry in some sense, but has free access. So you can participate in this industry sitting anywhere. You're not restricted by the local borders. Our role within Ola is to encourage local communities in Latin America to come and participate of this global economy. For some will be simply to play and have fun and meet new friends and colleagues. For others might be to come and find alternatives to earn. We highly promote these earning opportunities, and I come back to our revenue split model. We're selling services to global companies, and we are enabling those incomes to be translated into more like freelancing job opportunities for local community members. So now you're maybe this kid in Colombia, in Brazil, in Mexico that has a small followers, he's creating content for his followers. And indirectly or via Ola, he's being employed by a game developer sitting in South Korea, right?
Yes.
We act as an intermediary, translating those opportunities and really localizing the service to our international partner.
And there's a strong like critique that games are not about ownership; they're about the game. How much do the gamers care about NFTs or things like asset portability?
Yeah. No, I think this is a very real and honest critique that we, as an industry, we should acknowledge. I think that first and foremost, games should be all about the fun that you have while playing. Um, I'm really excited about these upgrades in the technology that now a game uh, will offer you services like real ownership, like of building your digital CV, if you like. So people know who you are based on what you did and not based on who you know or who you're connected to. These are amazing features that I think now the Web3 world is enabling us. But maybe we jumped a little bit too much, too fast into those new features. And because now everything could be commercialized, there's always a financial incentive that can put things in the wrong order. But I think the markets will mature, games will mature. priorities will sort out in the right way. Global identity, real ownership. I think the technology is here. Now, what we've seen so far is the effort for distribution and adoption to be distributed into tens of thousands of mini developers or smaller developers, each making its own fight and struggle to capture their market share. And it's hard. So maybe if we jump into how global digital adoption happens, it might make sense to have more like a coordination embracing the one system that will make sense for most of games to play with, and not have each game to have its own system. But this is part of our discussion. I think given where we are, we can say we have our scars, our lessons learned, and that the opportunity still remains ahead to build a future where not only we have games enabling people to have fun, to connect, and to be entertained, but on top of that, we can build better systems for people to be recognized and to earn their credentials as they spend more time helping the games evolve, building DAOs, etc., etc.
Got it. And what about you mentioned like people making money? How do they actually make money out of being in the gaming world?
Yeah, so nowadays, money is being made. Well, there are a few different models. I mentioned what we do. We sell services like a marketing agency, and we distribute revenue with freelancing opportunities. Now, games they also promote rewards as their go-to-market campaign. The competitive aspect of gaming in esports and tournaments and these merit-based activations, those are pretty much real. So several games they're putting aside like an annual budget and a calendar of activities and inviting gamers to participate, earn the most points in all of these campaigns and activations, and prizes will be given away at the end of the campaign. For those games, more like very highly competitive, you really need to build your experience, right? You really need to spend long hours mastering the game, because you're competing for the prizes. That's why you might be like future professionals in this space. The traditional gaming world of Web3 gaming, they highly depend on sponsors for them to run tournaments, campaigns, leagues. The publishers, they do have a big role also enabling all the professional structure to be put in place. So there are lots of earning opportunities nowadays out there, but you need to be a little bit more scrappy and spend more time delivering the work that's need to be done, or mastering the skills for the particular game that you like. Definitely, a few years ago, when play to earn was pretty much the novel moment, earning was easier in a way. Maybe if you play the game and you got your compensation right away. Now you need to struggle a little bit more, but it's definitely possible.
Mm. So how many people actually do that for a living? Like, is it a very small percentage of
It's a good question. Yeah. I don't have the specific answer how many people. Well, again, if you're doing it for a living, I would include myself in that bucket, as well as at least a few thousand community members in Ola that they're earning consistent revenue out of participating out of the Ola economy. No? But it's just another economy. Yeah. So it's economy with revenue. Our revenue is basically marketing revenue, or the cost of acquiring new users. And that revenue then gets split between competitive players, promoters, creators, etc., etc.
Where does blockchain actually add value inside your ecosystem and in gaming in general?
Yeah, for the transactions, it's amazing. Every now and then I get offers from traditional payment companies to help us deliver all these payments, and would never be possible. Every week we deliver thousands of payments to people sitting all around the world. I mean, mainly Latin America, but I don't know really if they're sitting in Mexico, in Brazil, in Argentina, in Chile, in Peru, and we can deliver all those payments just like that at a like paying literally cents of a dollar to deliver thousands of payments across different territories. This is not possible without blockchain. NFTs is another category that is highly interesting in my opinion, because the NFT has an utility, has a role. Could be used to start playing a game as a credential to enter, I don't know, a specific organization, like a VIP access for some rewards. We also issue some tokens that they are named soulbound tokens. They are like NFTs. They don't have a price. They cannot be traded. You cannot transfer a soulbound token, an SBT, but they really link your character. So we like to issue these as certificates of something that you've accomplished. So if you're a content creator or if you won your tournament, we will issue those tokens. So tomorrow we can identify your wallet based on the merits that you've done. This is not possible without blockchain. This is only possible given that the blockchain is the one certificate that it cannot be edited. Think about LinkedIn. Anyone can fake a LinkedIn account. You can say you have the best credentials in the world, and maybe if I were to be willing to work with you, I would need to do some background check to see if what you put on LinkedIn is true or not. You can solve all that with blockchain, and maybe your connections, your name, the way you look, that will all be secondary to what you've done. Because what you've done is being certificated by who promoted those services in the first place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, in like many tokenized ecosystems, well, they can be about like more mercenary or attract more mercenary capital,
Yes.
not necessarily culture. If rewards disappeared tomorrow, how would like gaming platforms, would they still exist? What makes the gaming community sticky beyond yield, and how do you look at like long-term value?
Yeah, I mean, games they need, every game as every business, they need to monetize at some point. So there's always this equation. What's the cost of acquiring a new user and the lifetime value of that user, how much money the user brings into the organization. We're not escaping that in this world. We use tokens and early rewards as a way to um, I don't know, these are marketing instruments that we have to call the attention of potential users, but those are not sustainable. So at some point you dry out of that. In the end, those represent a marketing budget for customer acquisition and the go-to-market expansion. If you're not able to monetize on its own to run a sustainable business, you will disappear sooner or later, depending on how much money you have. That's about it. So that's simply the rules of business overall. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would winning actually look like in, say, 5 years' time for Web3 gaming?
That's a good question. I think we're still all waiting for one massive success, both in user acquisition, retention, monetization, and the model for tokens. So why a game needs their own token in the first place? You name it NFTs, or it could be the in-game currency, like the game token. Those cases are not yet clear, as there are other use cases like stablecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They all have their reasons for existing. Now, the tokens for a DAO, for a game, those tokens, they need to justify their own existence. So there are lots of experiments out there. We don't have a winner yet. So for me, winning looks like a successful case that eventually others can replicate, learn from, and innovate from there.
Mm-hmm. So would you say what winning looks like in gaming at large is similar for Ola GG?
Yeah, I mean, we have our own model that we naturally, if our partners they succeed, we will do better. But we have our own strategy. We like to think our future is not depending on the success of our partners. We have our own platform, that we have our own users, our own revenue model. Our partners eventually, today we're highly speaking to gaming partners. Tomorrow could be more consumer brands. We need to connect with our community. In the end, we are hosting a local gaming community and connecting brands that they want to chat with our local gaming community, and that's our business.
Yeah. I mean, I read that you said in a time of AI bots and endless content, we're betting on people.
Yeah, what a year we're facing, and I think it's gonna get really crazy. And we use AI a lot. We're building much faster than what we were able to build a few years ago. We were able to build the cards game putting people's faces on cards only because the AI is here. Otherwise, this would not be possible just a few months ago. But I think in the end, the real challenge is not the best content. It's basically the best distribution, and it's working with real people that will be the users of the products that we are offering. Yeah.
If AI like becomes increasingly AI driven, what is it that will stay uniquely human, would you say, Nico?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think that there's a real human struggle into what's the value of the human life. So I always go back to the answer would be community, because I think the social aspect of feeling part of one community where you can share your daily challenges, your daily fun, and your daily activities. That's what makes us unique in the end. So it's more and more less about our skills. We know what we learn, what we can do. It's more about what we can experience together as a species.
Yeah. So, I mean, is that why you chose, was it anyway because of AI that you chose to build Ola GG as a community first model instead of a pure product startup? Or
Absolutely.
It was. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And we had several discussions about what comes first, the product or community. And we were always very much convinced that what makes us unique is being a community first project. Are our community members that they participate in our conversations every day, and they come to guide us into what's relevant for us to be doing, and they participate in our mini economy that we are building. Everything else, I think, comes secondary, is negotiable. Probably in a few months or years, will be too old to be relevant. But the community is what will stay, and I think community is what differentiates us nowadays. Everybody can create a social channel for distribution, create the best game possible. But if you don't have users, you don't have eyeballs or followers, there's very to no value at all in those products. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, history is littered with products that got invented that didn't have uses.
Exactly. So and more, I think the trend doubles down on the value of building community-led organizations.
Who's influenced you most in your career that you draw inspiration from in the work that you do right now?
Like individuals, you mean?
Yeah. It could be family, it could be people you don't know, in business or
Yeah, no, there are a few names that come to mind. Well, definitely family that you mentioned, especially my dad, and my dad is one person that he reinvented himself and his business all his life. He's close to 70 now, and he's always starting something new. So it's been very exciting to grow up just watching him reinvent himself one way after the other. Then I mentioned Gabi Dizon from YGG, Filipino partner. He's he's been following. He's been a game developer for the last 30 years, and he's the one that showed me what blockchain would be able to do within gaming. He's one of the reasons we decided to bring Ola GG into Latin America. And lastly, my partner and co-founder Clara Woolrich, we started this because the way we inspired each other about the impact that we can bring into our home region, Latin America, and our mission being always around financial inclusion opportunities is what really drives us, and that's why we love what we do.
Amazing. And in terms of like play to earn, it's been sort of criticized on the one hand as financializing fun, which is something that's actually but another way of looking at it is it's like the first honest form of gamer capitalism.
Exactly.
How do you see it?
There are other industries that they capitalize what's fun. I mean, if I don't know, you're a football fan and you became a professional, like now it's work. It's no longer fun. I get to play with my friends because I'm not professional. I played for fun. Someone else is playing for the money. Gaming is a little bit the same. Before this was exclusive for pro players that they started as playing for fun. Now they play for money. But play to earn, really, for me, it was a glance of what universal basic income could look like. So this is massive wealth distribution, but there's some simple tasks that need to be delivered, right? And the gaming experience, maybe that's a very interesting vehicle on how to interact with what's needed to be done. Naturally, that was not sustainable because the whole economy was within the game. But if the game is not able to create wealth in the first place, it's very hard to always pay out wealth. Now we need the other side of the equation. We need demand for that is able to inject wealth into the economy, so then we can pay out to those that are participating. But I think universal basic, or like Elon Musk named it, like universal amazing income. That's what he thinks will come. We might be close to this new capitalism where there's some organizations creating massive profits via, I don't know, monopoly on their business or agents or whatsoever. And then how do we distribute wealth with the general population? Maybe it's something like play to earn. But this is just me thinking out loud. I don't have an answer. I think we're entering a very interesting phase in our evolution as humans, and we'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a country that has had, so many challenges economically,
Yeah.
I imagine like turning your mind to how those things might be solved is,
Exactly.
something that's front and
It's
center.
fascinating. Yeah, but there's similar challenge at scale comes at the country level, where if you're running a country with communism or socialism, and you want to pay out for all the social fares, from, I don't know, basic income, housing, healthcare, you need wealth to be created somewhere. And if the working class is not enough to pay out for everybody else, then the economy collapses. And that's basically the reality for most of the communist experiments so far. Now, when you listen to the people making AI a reality, from Sam Altman, Elon Musk, they're all speaking about wealth as being a secondary issue in the years to come. That there will be a massive wealth being created for everybody on Earth. Now the reality changes. Someone is creating that wealth, and basically the channel now, it is truly around distribution. So maybe these models in the next economy make sense. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe that massive wealth will be created with little input.
Exactly. That maybe you need to believe in that, a mix between robots working for you and agents creating value. We'll see. We'll see. I like not to stress too much about it, but simply enjoy the ride, and in the meantime, have fun building stuff that are easier to make today than what it was a few years ago. And gaming is a great place to be these days.
Well, and it sounds like if that does come about, you'll just see it as another quest.
Exactly. This is our quest. We need to build something fast with AI.
Nico, what music are you listening to at the moment? What's your favorite song?
Oh my. What's my favorite song? I really loved Jack Johnson in the early days, early 2000, and somehow it returned to my Spotify playlist. So this last couple of weeks, I've been listening to Jack Johnson one after the other.
Super.
Yeah.
Very nice background music.
Appreciate. Yeah, I like traditional rock and roll and pop music. Yeah, I'm getting old. Anyway.
Excellent. Nico, it's been a real pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us at Unblock'd. And I've learned a lot understanding what's going on, not just in Ola GG, but also in the gaming sector, and what inspires you in the work that you're doing. So yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to come and speak with me today.
Well, thank you, Gemma. I really had a very good time. It was my pleasure, and hoping let's say reconnected. Let's see what we've built this year and how things are shaping, and maybe in the years to come.
Super. Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you.
That's Nico Del Pino, co-founder of Ola GG. If this episode shifted something for you, share it. Subscribe to Unblock'd wherever you are listening. See you next time.